have an opportunity to run for one of the highest elected offices in our land. And with your help, I will get there. You know, when you go to the polls on Tuesday, we have an opportunity to get our country back. To get our country back. We have an opportunity to get our state back with a guy by the name of Lee Zeldin. We have an opportunity on Tuesday to say, Joe Morelli, you're fired. We have an opportunity on Tuesday to say, Kathy Hochul, you're fired. We have a great opportunity on Tuesday to say, La'Ron and Lee, you're hired. You know, they have outraised us. They have outspent us. Amen. He has called Nancy Pelosi for reinforcements. He spent $1 million on little old me. On little old me, Rochester, New York. And it seems like whenever their lips move, the truth never seems to find its way out of it. But you won't be fooled. No. The people won't be fooled. No. Because on Tuesday night, we're going to win. You know, there are people out there who want us to believe that because you're an African American, you're a male, I'm a conservative, that I am the greatest threat to the Democratic Party.
I hope so. You're darn right. You're darn right.
Independent thinker.
Yeah. Get tougher.
I won't buy into their ideology. Yeah. And we won't be trapped. Independent on the policies that keep us poor.
Yes. Yep.
Get tougher.
Not in my house. No. Not on my watch. No. Not on our watch. No. We have seen children in our community get shot. Children.
Last night.
Just last night. You're right. 4 years old. At the start of the year, we saw a 14-year-old get killed going to the store to buy dinner. Right. We saw a 10-year-old in her own home braiding her grandmother's hair get shot. We saw a 3-year-old in a car on North Clinton Avenue, caught in a crossfire on Clinton Avenue. And just last night on City Terrace, we saw a 4-year-old get shot. And there are people who can change this, but they won't. That's why we're going to change it on Tuesday night. Because you see, when I get to those pearly gates, I want to be on the right side of everything, not on the wrong side. Because when you serve the people. You represent the people, and you all don't want what's happening right now. No. This violence, we don't want it. No. Joe Morelli has been silent on it. Now all of a sudden he's found, I don't know what he's found.
He's running scared, that's what he's
We gotta run the scare, you're right.
Mini Morelli.
You know,
you get tougher.
Every child deserves so that they can grow up and be anything they want. Absolutely. They can be a police officer, a police chief, and on Tuesday, hopefully a congressman. That's right. I didn't come here to give a sermon. I didn't come here to preach, but it is Sunday. But what I need to say needs to be said. So don't call me Pastor Singletary. Hopefully on Tuesday you can call me Congressman-elect. You know, everywhere across this country they have brought in the big guns. The Democrats have brought in the big guns to politic and campaign all over this country. They have brought President Bill Clinton. They have brought President Obama. They have brought the Vice President. They have brought Hillary Clinton. And locally, they have even reached out to Bill Johnson. To Bill Johnson. Well, let me tell you something. They brought the big guns out. But it won't matter. Because they're going to shoot blanks. They're going to be shooting some blanks all across this nation to include right here in New York 25. We're going to flip this seat. We're going to flip it big. Because you see, help is on the way. Help is on the way. You know, Joe Morelli now cares about public safety because he sees polls that say public safety is the #1 issue. That's right. He's running scared. So now he is concerned about public safety. Well, Joe, I got news for you. Where were you at the last 2 years? Because when I was chief of police, you never called me and said, how can I help? You never. In fact, you went to go sit on the ground. Well, we had a city that was burning. We had buildings that were burning. We had police cars that were burning. And you went to go sit on the ground. That's not leadership. You called for defunding the police.
I'm Jay Mack, by the way.
I know. I was there.
Of course.
We got pictures. We got pictures.
Two speakers. It's Alison and then Lee.
Tuesday will be a referendum
He's almost up.
on the policies that have hurt and killed people within this state. Think about that. Hurt and kill people, because public safety is not a Democrat issue. It's not a Republican issue. It's not an independent issue. It's an American issue. And each and every one of us deserves the right to be safe. You know, desperate times calls for desperate measures. And we need each and every one of you not just to go to the polls, but I need you to text 10 people and say, get to the polls on Tuesday, get to the polls today, and vote. And hopefully many of you will be going across that way and cast your ballot for change on Tuesday. Not only change in New York 25, but change across the state and change across this country, because God knows we need it. And it will give me a great honor to stand with Congresswoman Claudia Tenney to watch Nancy Pelosi hand over that gavel. If you looked at the New York Post lately, quite frankly, if you looked at every major media outlets in the nation, they have an eye on New York 25. They have an eye on New York 25. Think about that. We are finally in the news for something good. They have an eye on New York 25. The New York Post just said that New York 25 is in play. Think about that. A district that Biden won by 20 points. 20 points.
Yeah, okay.
Think about that. A blue state, a blue district. But we're going to have Democrats vote for La'Ron Singletary. We're going to have independents vote for La'Ron Singletary. And we're going to have Republicans vote for La'Ron Singletary. We have an opportunity of a lifetime on Tuesday to make history and change. We need a congressman that is going to not only have self-interest, we don't want self-interest. We want a congressman that's going to have your interests. We want a congressman that believes in public safety, not defund the police. Not public chaos like we've been seeing over the last 2 years. 81 homicides, 70 homicides, 419 people shot last year, 300 plus people shot this year, kids being shot. We don't want it. No. It won't happen. No. Not on my watch, not in my house. We want a congressman that's going to bring jobs and resources back to New York 25. We want a congressman that believes in common sense, not nonsense. Folks, the time is now. The time is now. If not now, then when? If not me, then who?
It's you.
It's me. It's me. We haven't come this far to lose. We haven't come this far to slow down. We haven't come this far to give up. We come this far to rise up. We've come this far to retire Lee Zeldin from the halls of Congress and place him in the halls of the governor's mansion. Here in the great state of New York. You know, as a former police officer and former police chief, we need to support our law enforcement. I'm not ashamed to say it. Now they want to come out and try to say that they support law enforcement all along.
I heard it.
It's a lie. It's a lie. We have pictures.
Oh, yeah.
How did I do in the debate? Just 2 years ago, I was a cop. I think Joe Morelli underestimated me. I think many people underestimated me.
We do.
But let me tell you something, we are resilient people. That's right. We are strong people who believes in our Constitution, who believes in the United States of America.
That's right.
Since I announced November 4th, I said it's not about the party, it's about the people. And that is why we are going to have people from all political persuasions vote for us. That is why we have all of you out here who believe in me, who believe that we need a change for New York 25, our state and America. And we will get that change. We will get that change. I see many elected officials out there who have been so supportive of the Singletary campaign. I want to thank my team. Everybody's here for my team. You know who you are. I don't want to mention names, and I don't want to get in trouble for leaving anybody out. But let me tell you something. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for each and every one of you. Throughout this campaign, we've had people who have never donated to a campaign. We've had people who have never knocked on a door, who have never made a phone call, who have never put a yard sign in their yard. Why? Because they believe. They believe that we need change. We're tired of these inflation. These prices are out of control. We have an open border. Right? We have an open border. We have a crisis that's bringing fentanyl into this country that is killing Americans at a pace that we've never seen before. 300 Americans are dying every day. It's killing Americans. Number one killer between Americans the ages of 18 and 45. Fentanyl crisis. We need to know, knowledge that Jimmy and I, you know, we're former police chiefs. We didn't have to do this. We did not have to do this.
That's right.
JVB!
He served in the Rochester Police Department. He served in the Gates Police Department. Him and I didn't have to do this.
That's right.
We know the answers. In 2019, when they talked about criminal justice reform, me and my command staff was on the phone with Governor Cuomo's staff and said, if you do this, you're going to tie the hands of police officers, probation officers, parole officers, and judges.
That's right.
We told them this is going to be bad. We said it. Sure enough, we did. Across this country, we saw a 32% increase in African-American homicides, to include right here in Rochester. We used to average 28 to 33 homicides in Rochester. We saw 81 last year and 70 this year. Kids are being killed in our streets. Kids are being shot in our streets. That's why we need change. That's why Jimmy and I decided to do this.
That's right.
We have a retirement. We have a pension. We have careers. We're not trying to be career politicians like some of those who are in office are. We are trying to be public servants who have a background with an understanding.
Yeah.
We know what we want. We want freedom.
That's right.
We want freedom, man, right? I see you. I see you. We want freedom. We don't want the government telling us what to do. We want the government to provide safety. That's the number one role of government, to provide safety for the protection of its citizens. And that has not happened in the last 5 years. Jimmy and I are passionate about this issue because Jimmy and I were the ones who were getting the phone calls at 2, 3 in the morning when people were shot and killed in our city. 2 and 3 in the morning, we were getting the phone calls. We know what it's like. They don't.
That's right.
And if we don't vote them out of office, we don't vote them out of office because they didn't stand up for the people who have lost their lives in this community. If we don't vote them out of office, we can only expect the same thing to continue to occur. And we know what the definition of insanity is, right?
That's right.
That's insanity.
It is.
That's insanity. But again, we need your help. We need your vote.
You got it.
We need your voice to be heard. And when you leave, this doesn't stop when we leave here.
Right?
This doesn't stop when we leave here today. We still have, what, 48 hours?
Yeah.
You need to make phone calls. You need to make text messages. You need to see people. You need to keep wearing that Singletary merchandise everywhere you go. So people can see it, people can touch it, people can talk to you. Spread the gospel.
That's right.
Because Lord knows we need faith and back in our community.
That's
We need
right.
strong families back in our community. You know, we're doing this for country. You know, service is about helping other people. You know, my aunt from Atlanta told me, Brenda Harris, and my aunt Patty, she's here, and my uncle Eddie's here. They drove up from Georgia. There's some hot contested races in Georgia too. But let me tell you something. My aunt said, hope. Hope. There are people in this community who still have hope. I have hope. I have not given up on my community. That's why I decided to run. Hope stands for helping other people every day. That is what we signed up for. That is why we are here right now in Irondequoit, New York. We signed up to give people hope, but not just hope, to bring back the opportunity and resources to go along with the hope that people have that haven't been brought back to this community since people who are in office are not doing anything. That's right. It's time, y'all. It's time, y'all. It's time to cast your ballot. It's time to change New York 25 and flip this seat. The last time a Republican held this seat was 1982. I was 2 years old.
I was just born.
It is time. It is time. It is time. So, thank you so much. I don't want to take up too much more time. We have a great speaker. And let me tell you, it has been great to run with all the candidates this year. We have had a bond that was victorious across that finish line. We have a leader at the top of the ticket in New York by the name of Lee Zeldin and Alison Esposito that's going to carry us on the finish line. We have great candidates on the state side. We have great candidates locally. And we're going to flip this seat and kick back the house and make this city run. Thank you so much.
You'll hear a little bit from Jimmy Van Bretero in a little bit.
Yeah!
La'Ron Singletary. Can you imagine what Congress is going to look like with people like Claudia Petty and La'Ron Singletary fighting for us? I'm going to do this right now. You're going to see this picture on election night. This is the picture. That's what you're going to see. All right? Absolutely. So, I got to say quickly, because I know there's people waiting and got to speak, but Joe Morelli and I have a little history. And I know we're in Joe Morelli's background, so I really want to hear this. Are you ready to fire Joe Morelli? Yeah! I can't hear you. Yeah! That's much better. That's much better. So, what's interesting is we got 3 former cops, running for office. What does that tell you about what's happening in New York State? What does that tell you? These guys have given a lot of time to public service, and they want to give more, and it's public service. These are not politicians. They are public servants, and they want to continue serving the public. Three great law enforcement officers. All, 2 have been chief. 1 had the opportunity to be chief, but instead she said, you know what? I need to serve the public in a better way. I need to serve the public differently. So I would like to introduce our next Lieutenant Governor, Alison Esposito. That's it. Lots of noise, come on. We can do that again. Let's go. Welcome back.
Well, what a beautiful day for a rally. Are we ready to save our state? Yeah! Are we ready to make history? Yeah! We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. This is what's going on. It's supposed to be before I come up. Otherwise, I'm lip syncing. All right. So we are gonna do this. There was a debate, right? Everybody saw the debate? Yeah. You saw our future governor standing there. And you saw him hell-bent on expressing the priorities that mattered most to New Yorkers, right? Yeah. He stood there. He stood his ground, and he's echoed all of the priorities that you all have conveyed to us in these last months and more than a year.
Right.
Crime, law and order, public safety.
Right.
The economy.
Right.
Our children's education.
Yeah.
And while he implored Kathy Hope to talk about locking the bad guys up and holding criminals accountable for their actions, she smugly, out of touch, elitist type of a smile, and she just kind of turned to him and went, why does that matter so much to you? Ladies and gentlemen, why does law and order and public safety matter so much to us? Why does it matter so much to him? Well, maybe because not just a few weeks ago, there was a gang drive-by shooting on his front lawn with his daughters inside doing homework. Crime and public safety doesn't mean so much to us. Tell that to the rape victim on the west side of Manhattan the other day. What about the 4-year-old little girl that was shot here last night? What about her? Does it matter to her? Yeah. What about outside of Buffalo, when we had a husband and wife where Kiera Benningfield was begging for anyone to listen to her, that her husband was going to kill her, and he blew her head off with a shotgun in front of her children while she had a bulletproof vest on? Does it matter to her? Why does crime, public safety, and law and order mean so much to us? Well, I'll tell you this. I'm not a politician. I'm a cop. And it means a hell of a lot to me. This is it. We have like 55, 56 hours to go. We are going to make history. We are going to do it together. We are going to back the blue. We are going to acknowledge that parents have the right to decide what's best for them, their families, and their children. We do not teach one side that they're perpetually guilty and the other side that they're perpetual victims.
That's right.
We know our children better and they shall have it. And whether you as a parent want private school, home school, public school, charter school, it doesn't matter. We have to set all of New York's kids up for success. We should be rolling back taxes. We should be stopping regulations on small businesses. We should be safely extracting our natural resources. This is all common sense. This is not a red wave. This is a common sense wave. This is a red, white, and blue wave. This is Republicans, Democrats, independents, and people who have never voted before standing up and saying enough. What we allow will continue, and we will no longer allow the ruling elite to dictate our day-to-day lives. Our votes matter. We matter.
That's right.
On November 8th, we make it official. We stand together and we say that once again we demand integrity in our leadership. Once again, we demand our government responsible for us, that represents us and how we feel. This is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And we are coming for our state back, and then we're going to come save our country. But we need to do this together. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to get excited. We are down to the wire. We are running from rally to rally to rally today to make sure that everybody knows how important they are. It's time. You need to talk to anybody who will listen and those who won't. Get on social media, make telephone calls, knock on doors, talk to your friends, your relatives, your neighbors, your colleagues. Sally down the block that you don't like. Get them all out to vote. Because we have forgotten to concentrate more on what unites us and less on what divides us.
That's right.
We have forgotten in America and in New York that voting is not just a right. This is a responsibility. It is an obligation.
That's right.
We owe it to ourselves and our children to get out and make our voices heard. And I believe we do this. We do it together. And if we all go all in and leave it all on the field, on November 8th, we go to sleep with a word reintroduced in our dictionary. We go to sleep once again with hope. Hope that the new dawn will bring new opportunities. Hope that the new dawn will restore our American freedoms. Hope that the new dawn will lead us on the road to rescue New York State. 24 years ago, I stood in the city of New York and I raised my right hand. And I vowed at that point to protect the people of the city of New York. With your help, I will stand next to then Governor Zeldin on January 1st. And we will both raise our right hand, only this time we will vow to lead and protect all of the people of the state of New York, and we will deliver back to you the New York State that you deserve. And understand this, I never, ever would have left my beloved police department if I didn't believe that he was the right guy at the right time, with the right vision to restore New York State back to greatness. If I didn't believe that his integrity was beyond reproach, the last few governors have resigned in scandal, arrest, scandal. We had 3 lieutenant governors in less than, what, a year? And in 48 hours, she may not make it anyway with all this politics. But over these last few months, not only did I get to know Lee, the congressman, the fighter, the champion of New York, the individual who put his life on the line for our country, the paratrooper, the Army vet, I got to know Lee the man. Lee the father that rushed home when his daughters were in trouble. Lee the man that is fighting for his daughters. And you know what that means, ladies and gentlemen? He's fighting for your kids too. Not only does he have the ability, the experience, the intellect to lead us back to greatness at the top of this ticket, and don't get me wrong, we have to get every single person up that was on this stage that's up for election to break these supermajorities to take our country back. These are the right people. The ones who stepped away from their comfort zone and said America and New York State are worth fighting for. But he is the right guy for the top of the ticket. And the reason I know this is because even though he's a champion, he's a fighter, he's got the intellect, he's got the know-how, he's got the drive. Most importantly, he has the compassion. He has the heart. He is a man that will put people, once again, before power. He is your next governor of New York State. Ladies and gentlemen,
home stretch, 48 hours to go. Are you ready? Me too. Today is the last day of in-person early voting. It's a beautiful day. There's no excuse. Every single person we know in our life, friend, family, stranger, neighbor, coworker, we have to get everybody out before the polls close. When we hit 9 p.m. on Tuesday, there will be no regret. We won't be dwelling that we should have tried just a little bit harder. La'Ron Singletary came so close. We should have tried just a little bit harder. Lee Zeldin, it was almost there, but we didn't dig deep. Y'all know the stakes. We're trying to save our country.
Right. Yep.
We're trying to save our state.
Yeah.
Our future here as New Yorkers. You know, we want to be able to say that we live in the greatest state, in the greatest country in the history of the world. That's what we want to be able to say. And at this point in time, if we were to talk to anybody in any other state, they'd be able to respond and say, but don't you live in that state that leads the entire country in out-migration? So you're telling me that you live in the greatest state in the country, but more people are leaving your state than leaving any other state in the United States. Is that right? Yeah? Now right now we have somebody who's sitting in the seat who doesn't even understand why it is that we lead the whole country in population loss, so how can we expect it to be fixed? Now we all know exactly why we're in this situation. We know about that breaking point. We might be feeling that ourselves. And I'll tell you what, a few days ago, Kathy Hochul brought in Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton. Yesterday she had Bill Clinton. Today she has Joe Biden coming in. And I'll tell you what, every single one of those rallies, she is unable to draw the energy in the crowd. If you just look around you right now, who has the momentum? Who has the enthusiasm? Campaign has the issues on our side. You can't do this. Now, I don't know, maybe they want to break out the Joe Biden magic. Maybe they should, for old time's sake, what worked in 2020? They could draw 13 of those little circles on the ground, stand 14 and a half feet apart. Monroe County's coming out strong. Monroe's ready.
So we had a debate about a week and a half ago. I'm not sure if any of you caught the debate. And we were asked question after question after question about crime. I mean, there was just a 4-year-old who was just shot. News from the last 24 hours here in Rochester. 68 murders already.
70.
Now it's up to 70.
You've been gone for 2 days.
You know, Bob Duffy, who was the Democrat lieutenant governor under Andrew Cuomo, he called for judges to have discretion to weigh dangerousness. Eric Adams is a Democrat mayor in New York City. He's calling for judges to have discretion to weigh dangerousness. What we're here talking about in the need to fight crime shouldn't even be viewed as a Democrat versus Republican issue. We all want to be safe on our streets. We all deserve to. Our families should be safe. So we get asked question after question after question about crime. And I point out, listen, we're almost halfway through this debate, and you haven't yet spoken about the whole locking up the bad guy part of fighting crime. Now, she could have taken that as a hint. Thanks for reminding me. And then she could have said about how important it is to lock up people who are committing these offenses. But instead, she said she doesn't understand why this is so important to me. And when she said that she doesn't understand why this is so important to me, she is saying that she doesn't understand why this is so important to all of you. So she dug a hole. She had to get herself out of the hole. What does she do? She went on MSNBC and then she says that this is a conspiracy. She says that we are data deniers. I mean, the number of murders in Rochester this year already has set a record. Data. So she goes, she's dug herself down an even deeper hole. What do you do if you're Kathy Hochul? You dug yourself a big hole, you then tried to get out of it and you dug a deeper hole. What do? You dig deeper. You dig deeper. So 2 mornings ago, she goes on CNN and she's continuing down this line. And it was a side-by-side that she didn't realize was up. The other half of the screen was actually showing major crime categories, one after another, all going up. And she's trying to share this argument. She just dug an even deeper hole. So now you huddle with your campaign advisors. Listen, that's just not working. You got to come up with something different. What do you think? What do you suggest? What did they do? Kept digging. Kept digging. So now, 2 nights ago, she goes back on MSNBC and she's talking to the host. And the host cuts her off and says, "I don't feel safe in New York City." She says, "When I go to the pharmacy, everything's locked up. I'm not riding the subway." Again, this is about Republicans and Democrats and independents. All of us uniting as New Yorkers to save our state. That's what this is about. This is about making sure that we don't have district attorneys who by policy are just letting violent criminals run free. It's making sure that we are unapologetically backing our selfless, dedicated men and women in law enforcement. Rolling back pro-criminal laws like cashless bail. I heard Alison just talking about what had happened just outside of Buffalo. On a Tuesday, Adams released. Kiara said, "You can't release him, he's going to murder me." He was charged with a slew of domestic violence offenses. The judge should have been able to keep Adam detained. The next day, and she said she's wearing a bulletproof vest and in front of her 3 kids. Data deniers? Go tell that to Kiara's 3 kids who are going to go out without a mom after they just watched her be executed because the system, the laws, failed their family. I'm here today with my wife Diana, our daughters, Michaela and I. just a few weekends back, we had a gang drive-by shooting on our front yard. The girls were at home on a quiet Sunday afternoon. Here we are. It's a quiet Sunday afternoon. If it can happen, I'm a 4-term member of Congress running for governor. If it can happen to me, it can happen to anybody. Now, thankfully, they were both home as opposed to just one of them. Obviously, it would be better if neither of them were home. First, they heard the gunshots. They thought it was fireworks. But then they heard the screaming. And when they heard the screaming, they thought that these 3 people were coming for them. And they responded very smartly and quickly. They went upstairs. They locked themselves in the bathroom. They called 911. They called us. One bullet landed about 30 feet from where they were sitting. 2 people shot were laying on the ground 10 feet from where they were sitting. This isn't just some New York City issue. We live somewhere between, depending on traffic, 1 hour and 10 days out of New York City. We were just talking about the tragedy that hit Garrett Hudson's family. Talk about a 4-year-old shot yesterday, right here in Rochester. A dad who goes to visit his kids for Parents' Weekend in Marist. Getting a cup of coffee and checking out of a hotel. So yesterday, Bill Clinton, during his speech, he was mocking our focus on crime.
Get him out!
This isn't funny. No. People are hitting their breaking point in New York. And we have all decided enough. The first thing that we are going to do, the first day that we are in office, is to send a message to the other district attorneys who also, and there's some others who aren't doing their job. We are going to tell them, and head district attorney Alvin Bragg, that he's being fired for his refusal to enforce the law. We are going to declare a crime emergency here in the state of New York. We are going to suspend New York's cashless bail law, haul back, raise the license more, and to force the state legislature to come to the table. They say they won't come to the table. We'll force them to come to the table. We have some state legislators here. They don't need any incentive. They're ready to come to the table right now. But when you all go to sleep on January 1st, when you go to sleep, cashless bail in the state is going to be suspended, and we are going to work on a permanent fix with the state legislature. And on day 1, and it's going to be a busy day 1, every COVID mandate in the state of New York that we can get rid of is gone. This state turned healthcare workers from heroes to zeros. Every single one of our healthcare workers who were fired, and anybody else who was fired, teachers, and we had law enforcement and firefighters and others. Everybody should be offered their jobs back with back pay. That's my I do not support COVID vaccine mandates on anyone for employment, for education, or otherwise. At the debate, Kathy Hochul said about her COVID vaccine mandate for healthcare workers, she would do it all over again. I would not. When she was pushing her COVID vaccine mandate, she was referring to all of you as her apostles. When she was in front of the New York State Association of Counties recently, she referred to herself as the mother of New York's 62 counties. You are not there to serve as the governor's apostles. The governor is not there to be your father or your mother. This is your state, your government, and you are coming to take your state back. You need people in office who are there to serve you, not being served by all of you. And whenever you are engaging in a transaction of freedom with the government, it should only go one way, and that is government giving you your freedoms back. I'll tell you one other thing. It shouldn't come down to it, but it does. In this state, we will issue a declaration on the first day. Again, I don't even think that this should be necessary, but it is. We will recognize that in New York State, a parent has a fundamental right to control the upbringing of their child, and they do not relinquish that right to the government when they send their kids off to school. Parents are in charge of their kids' education. Students first. We plan on having a busy first day. We plan on having a busy first 100 days. We will restore balance to Albany. We are going to retake Washington. We're going to make sure that we're sending La'Ron Singletary down to Washington, D.C. as our next congressman. We're going to send Claudia Tenney right there with him. We're going to make sure that Claudia and La'Ron, when they are sitting there on the House floor at the beginning of January, and we're all able to tune in on C-SPAN, we get to watch the gavel permanently coming out of the hands of former Speaker Nancy Pelosi. And while we're at it, you know what else comes with it? The gavel's coming out of the hands of Maxine Waters and Adam Schiff and Jamie Nadler. We will have a balance of power in Washington. Now we're running as one ticket, one team, and I ask you to support everyone running on this team. And there are candidates here for state senate and state assembly. These are close races right here in Monroe and surrounding counties. Whether you live here in this county or in the surrounding areas, get to know these candidates for state senate and state assembly and support them, because we need them to be up in Albany to make sure that there truly is a balance of power. We have to break the supermajority that exists in the state senate. We will break the supermajority that exists in the state senate and the state assembly, but only by getting them elected. By doing everything in our power, taking absolutely nothing for granted in these final 48 hours left, an opportunity that at times seems too fleeting. You hope it's 2 or 3 years away. The time comes, the time goes, and we end up with more of the same. Maybe it even gets worse, but not this year, not in 2022. On November 8th of 1994, New Yorkers took control of their destiny. The state was at a crossroads, and we elected an unknown candidate who they said it was impossible to win when New York State elected George Pataki on November 8th. On November 8th of 2022. We're coming for our country back. We're coming for our freedom. We're reversing those attacks on our lives, on our safety, on our kids' education. We will make history. In a way, they will tell stories about decades from now when Monroe County, when this whole region, this whole state came out strong to restore New York to glory, to fire Kathy Hochul, to end one-party rule, and to save our state. 4 hours to go. Let's get this done. Get everybody you know out to vote today. Get everybody else out to vote on Tuesday. Losing is not an option. Thank you all for coming out. Let's get this done. Lee Zeldin, Alison Esposito, our next team up and Albany.
Well, we ain't done yet. We're not done. We got a little more for you. So, really, are you ready to fire Kathy Hochul? Really? Well, we got somebody else we want to fire. This little, it's this little character in a horror movie. Chucky Schumer. Are we ready to fire Chuck Schumer? We got just a guy that can do that. Coming out here right now, Mr. Joe Pinion.
All right. Who's ready to fire Chuck Schumer?
Lock him up.
I hope everyone's leaving to go vote. But for those who are still here, my name is Joe Pinion, your Republican nominee to ensure that after 42 years, we send Charles Ellis Schumer packing. Now, to be clear, we have a greater purpose today. The rallies, they've been fun, but now it's time to get to the business of saving our state and turning this country around. You know, many of you have heard this. I've traveled around this state. Everywhere we go, people say, Joe, do well. And then I tell them I'm running against Chuck Schumer, and they say, Joe, how do I put you in my will? Because the truth is that he no longer works for us.
Right.
He works for the people that keep the campaign cash coming through the door. And Kathy Hochul and Chuck Schumer, they have forgotten that we are a nation of the people, by the people, and for the people. Founded to escape tyranny of a king, founded to make sure that we will never abide tyranny of government, and now on their watch they have tyranny of one-party rule, stripping us of our liberties, making our communities less safe. I'm telling you today, send me to D.C. to be your senator. You know, we've been very clear here. They have turned the southern border into a gangster's paradise. I take no pleasure in saying that, but it's simply the truth. We have Chinese cartels and Mexican cartels. They are getting rich. Our souls are getting deep with sorrow. We go to too many funerals because of the drugs that stream across our border while they pretend there's nothing to see.
Yes.
Chuck Schumer didn't even realize we had a fentanyl crisis until the poll numbers started coming down. Then he wanted to scare all the parents about Halloween and say, don't send your children trick-or-treating because the Skittles might have fentanyl anymore. No, the fentanyl is coming across our border. The fentanyl is coming from the cartels. And until you take that seriously, then you getting on TV talking about it means very little to any of us. So I'm telling you today, we have to stop making a covenant with death. We are here to make a new covenant with life, and that starts with firing Charles Ellis Schumer on Tuesday, November 8th. People say, Joe, we want to hear from you more. Joe, we want to see you more. You all know the story. The man had $28 million when I got in the race. But money's not going to buy this election.
Amen.
He spent $7.5 million over the last 30 days on TV ads trying to rewrite history. 70% of the black students in New York City just failed the math exam. He doesn't want to talk about that. We had a 4-year-old child just shot here in Rochester yesterday. He doesn't want to talk about that. You've got a higher murder rate here in Rochester than we do in Chicago, Illinois. He doesn't want to talk about that. They want to pretend that our pain and our suffering is an optical illusion. The only illusion that they're going to have is the thought that their opinion matters after Tuesday, because we're going to send them all packing. So if you are tired of $6 gallon of milk, we need your help. If you're tired of going to the local diner only to find out that the price of the chicken wings changes depending on the day, we need your help. If you're tired of being scared of the price tag on a carton of eggs, we need your help. If you're tired of feeling as if my mother feels every day, that when form of bills that have gotten far too high because of people down in D.C. printing money like a bunch of drunken sailors, we need your help.
And the Fed.
We got in this race back in January against a man who already had $28 million in the bank. He's raised close to 20 more since we got in the race. And people thought I had taken leave of my absence. I quit my job at Newsmax, and people thought perhaps Joe's having a midlife crisis. What they didn't realize was America was the one having a midlife crisis. And the first step on the road to recovery is retiring Charles Ellis Schumer from politics. Now, we've been to Rochester many times. If you haven't heard about it, I'm not surprised. Oftentimes we come, we speak, we talk to you, the media is there, but then somehow we end up on the cutting room floor.
Why is it, guys?
But the truth is, we had a grand old debate down at Union College about a week ago.
Way to go, Joe!
And suddenly people are realizing there's a real race here. Suddenly people are looking at the fact that the Senate Majority Leader, the most powerful man down in D.C., is spending more money here in New York trying to save his own job than he is trying to save that majority across this country.
Got it.
So now we know how high the stakes have become. And so this is bigger than politics. It's about children being sent to schools that don't teach them how to read. This is about children being forced into classrooms more concerned with teaching them about the mechanics of sex than how to spell the word when they should know neither. This is about parents making sure that they have an absolute right to ensure that we are not the night shift, that our children remain our children when we drop them off at that schoolhouse door, and we have the right to know exactly what is being taught between the hours of 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. It's about people like my grandmother who aren't here with us today and spent those final moments of their existence in this human experience without the love and compassion that sustained their existence because of mandates that deprived them of the people that they love the most. How can we be a nation founded on love, founded on providence, founded on the belief that we have inalienable rights, when we have individuals in power that are willing to strip them away for a little bit of comfort? We need your help to ensure that what happened to my grandmother, what happened to seniors all across this nation, put in nursing homes they knew weren't safe, that it never happens ever again. Not on our watch. Not on this one. And so if you haven't voted, please go vote. If you're waiting till Tuesday, then please don't miss the 9 p.m. cutoff date. We've got a 3-for-1 sale here in Rochester. We get to fire Kathy Hochul, we get to retire Charles Ellis Jr., and we get to send a guy named Joe Moretti packing. We're going to finish this journey. We're going to finish telling the untold story of New York State. We're going to right the wrongs that have been too wrong for too long on Chuck Schumer's watch and on Joe Morelli's watch. Two men that could care less about the fact that on their watch we have seen 60% of our children not knowing how to read. That we have now seen a Syracuse, New York, where we're headed next, have a higher child poverty rate than any other city in the country. They talk about the politics, we're here to talk about the humanity. And so this is the quest. Go out there and call your friends. Go out there and text your neighbors. Go down there, as our Lieutenant Governor to be always tells you, go talk to Sally at the end of your block you don't like. Because if we don't, we're not going to win. But if we do, we're going to have an America that is worth everything that we love. So I've got to get going, but I do want to leave you all with this. What do you want Tuesday to feel like?
Tidal wave against Democrats.
Faith without work is dead. We've had all the rallies we can have. To all of you who've knocked on doors on my behalf, I am eternally grateful. I carry you in my heart every single day. But I need you guys to carry us for 2 more days. I need you to knock on a few more doors.
Are you on Main Road? We've so few of them, they have you on Main Road.
We can't continue to make a covenant with death. You know, I tell you about this, my mother called me this morning. Because, I don't know if you heard, the President of the United States has decided to fly and come to visit my hometown of Yonkers. We haven't had a president visit my hometown in my entire adult life. And when we had the public schools that were crumbling, the president didn't come.
No.
Chuck Schumer didn't show up with a check. No. When we had the public housing that was crumbling, the president didn't come. Chuck Schumer didn't show up for a check. But you see, now their power is threatened. And all of a sudden, cities like Yonkers, cities like Rochester, suddenly they matter again. I'm here to tell you, you always matter. Our pain was always important. I'm not here to say that Joe Morelli is a bad man. I'm not here to say that Chuck Schumer is a bad man.
But they are. Let's be honest.
Time for Chuck.
But I'm here to say that something has been broken in your spirit when you allow the people that have placed their trust in your hands to live with the kind of pain and suffering that too many of us have had to endure for far too long. So let us finish this job together. Let us have an America that believes in freedom again. Let us have an America that truly capitalizes on the human capital that is brewing within every single one of us, that gives our children the tools they need to become the best version of themselves, that understands concretely, as Bill Clinton said, whether you love him or not, that there is nothing wrong with America that cannot be fixed with what is right with America. There is so much right with America. There is so much right with Rochester, but they have allowed this poison to be etched into the fabric of our society. Together we're gonna end it. So on Tuesday, I need you to help my brother La'Ron go down to D.C. On Tuesday, I need you to help Lee Zeldin become the next governor of this state. On Tuesday, I need you to help me excise Chuck Schumer from the halls of power after 42 years. We're tired of waiting for tomorrow. This is not Annie. We are not extras in a Broadway musical. It's always tomorrow. It's always a day away. We never need to trust Chuck Schumer again. My grandfather told me what many of you know. Never trust a man who promises to do tomorrow what he had the power to do yesterday. The days of yesterday are done. 42 years of yesterdays are finished. Come Tuesday, we're going to make a joyful noise. We're going to restore this state. We're going to put freedom back on the ballot. We're going to make sure that we have an America that works for every single one of us once again. God bless you all. Let's get the job done together.
Joe Pinion, Joe. Our next U.S. Senator gonna take Chucky down. Gonna take him down. So if you stick around for just a few more minutes, I'd like to call up all of our Monroe County candidates for this year. Some of you elected officials already are coming, so if you'd come on up here for a minute. And also one from Yates County. I know we have somebody from Yates County that's a candidate this year. You can come on up. So if you haven't seen these guys yet, we got Len Morrell, our next senator. Joe Pinion, U.S. Assembly. No, State Assembly, sorry. Josh Jensen, Assembly. My good friend Jim Vazana, Supreme Court. And my new friend Jason Cook for Supreme Court. I'd like to give Len Morrell a couple minutes, if you don't mind, to say a few words.
I'll keep it real brief. You've all been so patient and wonderful to be here. You know, it's interesting. The candidates that are running against us and the candidate that's running against me, she's spending $5 for every dollar we have. She's putting out 6 media pieces for every piece we have. She's putting out 10 Facebook ads to every ad we have. But you know what she's not doing? She's not talking about the fact that nobody feels safe in Rochester, New York anymore. You know what else she's not doing? She's not talking about the fact that people can't afford to live here anymore. And she's not talking about the fact that education is not meant to be a pool of cesspool where you can brainwash our 5-year-olds, our 6-year-olds, and our 8-year-olds to form sex education. She doesn't want to answer any of that. Well, I'm telling you, when I win the New York State Senate, all 3 of those are right in my crosshairs. And we're going to change. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Len. Currently sitting in the Assembly running again this year, our good friend Josh Jensen.
Thank you very much, Chairman. I'll be brief because I know the Bills are on, and they're going to. The only team in New York State is going to beat the New Jersey Jets today. After listening to everybody speak today, it's very clear. When you go to vote, you get the representation of government that you deserve. And in New York State, we deserve leaders who believe that crime is not a Republican conspiracy. We deserve leaders who believe that struggling families shouldn't just eat Chef Boyardee when they have to be hungry. We deserve leaders who care about the families in every part of this community and every part of the state. So thank you very much for your support. And remember on Election Day, vote Roe v.
Thank you, Josh. And we got to get rid of that lady called, what's her name? Jen Lunsford? Is that Lunsford? What do you think? Here's the guy that can do this, Joe Chenelly.
When the news broke this morning about this another senseless tragedy with a toddler being shot last night, the social media, it went all over the place. Where do you think your assembly member Lunsford went with her tweets? All she wanted to tweet was retweeting President Obama, who's down in Philadelphia campaigning for Fetterman, telling the Democrats not to pout, not to mope, but to get out and vote. They know what's coming. Everybody knows what's coming. We've got to deliver it. This state depends on it. Our community depends on it. And I'm grateful for all of you. Thank you so much. Let's get out there and vote.
All right, thank everybody for coming out today. God bless you all. God bless the United States. Have a great afternoon. Go Dolphins.
Look at you! Oh my God, God bless.
Even my dog is waiting. Oh, I don't know.
Thank you.
Keep fighting with Mike.
You want me to do my a good bait? I love the dog.